Hi you guys, it's Ayana and today I'm going to be doing the reader problems tag. Now this tag was created from about to read. I do not know your name. Sorry, I'm going to be linking the original video down below by about to read, so if you want to see that, check that out. And I was tagged to do this video by Christina. Christina runs a book blog called Watchable, Readable, Lovable. Her Twitter name is Good Girl Kills, and I'm going to be linking the blog post for the reader problems tag and her Twitter down below. I really enjoyed her blog post for the reader problems tag, so I highly suggest you go and read that. Now before we start, I usually like to memorize the questions for a tag video, but let's be honest, my memory isn't that great. There's no way I want to remember the questions, and like everybody, I'm just going to read it from my phone, so you're going to be seeing that.
This is my phone. It's a very simple red case. But you guys, it's like a Twilight vampire. It actually sparkles in the sunlight. I'm not even kidding. I didn't even realize that when I bought the case.
Let's begin. Question number 1. You have 20,000 books on your TBR. That's not so far from my actual number, but yeah. How in the world did you decide what to read next? Now, I am a firm believer in reading what you are in the mood for, what you want to read. I don't, like, if I start reading a book and I'll be like, you know what, I'm not really in the mood for contemporary or fantasy, then I'll put it down, because I feel like you can only really enjoy the book that you're reading if you're in the mood for it. And so that's usually how I used to pick my books. But my TBR shelf has been getting kind of cray-cray, and so I want to change that. So keep your eyes out for my November wrap-up and December TBR video, where I'm going to talk about the new way that I'm going to start picking TBR books. The second question. You're halfway through a book and you're just not loving it. Do you quit or are you committed? Now, it depends which book. Let's talk about some of the books that I got to that point where I didn't know if to continue or to quit. Obviously, I have crossed in here. I don't think I'm able to talk more about how much I dislike this book series, and then the night itself. Now, I actually just dropped the book. Oh my god. Sorry, book.
I think I already talked about how much I love Story Merritt's standalone Shadows on the Moon, and so when I heard that she's starting a trilogy about Japanese mythology, in which the first book is The Night Itself, of course I went and I bought it, but when I started reading it, the character was, and I'm sorry to say this, just so dumb. Like, there's something that happens in the first chapter. The reader obviously understands everything. It took 100 pages to realize. I like reading, I'm like, didn't you get that that's why it's happening? There's a reason for something that's happening. And then, and I wasn't enjoying the characters, I wasn't enjoying the plot, and then on page 100, just like, oh, maybe this is happening because of that. And I'm like, really? You really didn't get that to this point? And I'm like, yeah, I cannot continue reading this. And then I just I was crossed, even though nothing happened in this book. And suddenly became Xander. What was his name? Xander? I think his name is Xander. They, one of the people in the book tried. I suddenly became, Cassia and Xander fan, which is crazy because I was such a Carrie fan, Cassia Carrie fan, in the first book, and I really liked the book. And so I was like, yeah, things, like nothing's happening crossed. But I still have, a hope for the romance, and so I'm gonna push through. I pushed through. I finished this book. I got the third book because I'm like, I'm gonna finish the series. And I read the back, and I'm like, this is like Hunger Games. It's like a really bad version of Hunger Games. And I'm sorry, I know that people hate when you compare some book to other books, but I'm sorry. Like, she gets stuck in this love triangle. She goes out and does a rebellion, and the love triangle reminded me so much of the whole Katniss, Peeta, Gale situation that I was like, I cannot. No, if I want to read like a Hunger Games type book that really, really reminds me of Hunger Games, then I'll go and I'll read.
The next question is, the end of the year is coming. Hooray! And you're so close, but so far away on your Goodreads reading challenge. I don't do Goodreads reading challenge, but let's just say, do you try to catch up, and how? First of all, I do not do Goodreads reading challenges. I don't think I am going to do Goodreads reading challenges. I don't know, when I put a challenge and I get pressured to read more and more, it takes the fun out of reading for me, and so I don't do it. But if let's say I did, and let's say I was behind, then I think I'm just gonna be realistic and be like, you know what? if it's an achievable goal, like if I have 6 books away, then I'm just gonna put my entire effort and I'm gonna read as much as I can. But if it's like 20 books, I wanna be realistic and be like, you know what, there's no way and I'm gonna read 20 books in 1 month. So maybe I'll take it down, or maybe I'll be like, I'll just learn what I did wrong this year and maybe take the amount of books down for next year. Like, that's what I would do. But I don't do Goodreads reading challenges. So the covers of a series you love do not match, which is a nightmare for any booktuber, book lover, book something. How do you cope? Now, I'm going to introduce you to something. Let's look at the first 3 books that I have of The Heroes of Olympus by Rick Riordan. I have not yet read Blood of Olympus. Don't spoil me. Thank you. I love you. So the first book I have in hardback copy, and it's The Lost Hero. As you can see, hardback, shining, everything, and for some reason it's wet. Okay. The second book I have in the Disney Hyperion version. It's much smaller, it's a different cover, and it's the son of Neptune, and it's for some reason red as well. I really need to check that. And then the third version, why is this wet, for goodness? That's really weird. This isn't wet, and then the books are. Okay. And then the third book, which is The Heroes of Olympus, The Mark of Athena, I have in the same puffin edition as my first book, except it's paperback. And then all the third and the fourth book also paperback puffin versions. I definitely like my covers to match, but I'm not the kind of person, I'm not yet. Like, I think that I might, because there's things that I usually said I'll never do, and then I started booktubing and then I did them. Like, I never thought I'd get a Kindle, because I was like, I like reading physical books, but then I got a Kindle and I really enjoyed it. So, I might do it in the future. But, if I like the book, like a lot, and I like the story, then I think that the story is like the main thing, and so it won't really bother me that the covers don't match so much, and I don't think I'm gonna say waste money on buying another one. Like, if that's something that you like to do, then go for it. I'm a huge fan of beautiful covers and covers matching, but for me, I think that I'd rather spend my money on new books than getting matching covers of the same series. But if I'll go out and I'll buy a series that's already been published, like all of the books, then yeah, I'll get them all on the same cover. Everyone and their mother loves a book you really don't like. Bummer. Who do you bond with over shared feelings? Yes, I actually do have a book series for this. I'm just going to take out the first book, which is Wither, which is the first book in the Chemical Garden trilogy by Lauren DeStefano. I love this book series. Like, the first 2 books that I've read. I haven't yet read the third. I'm definitely going to reread this, so my opinions about this book might change. But I really love it right now. And I know that lots of people were disappointed with this book series. Even my friends, I got them the book and I'm like, read it, I really love it. They didn't get what I was talking about. And it's okay, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. If I want someone that'll be able to talk about the feelings they have for this book, and they have the same feelings, then probably Twitter. Like, it didn't happen to me yet, but probably Twitter. You're reading a book, and you're about to start crying in public. How do you deal? It depends where in public. Like, if I'm just on the bus or walking somewhere, then yeah, I'll cry. I'll probably see that person for 2 seconds and then I'll just go on. But if I'm flying somewhere or on a train ride somewhere, I'm gonna be stuck with the same people for a couple of hours, then I'll probably try to refrain myself. I really don't like that thing, when you start crying from a book and then somebody comes to you why are you crying? Do you need help? No, it's the book. And then people look at you weird and leave me alone. I want to cry with my book. So I'll try not to, but if I can't stop myself, then I'll cry. And I'll take it with dignity, and I'll own up my crying, and I'll still look great doing it. A sequel of a book you loved just came out, but you've forgotten a lot from the prior novel. So basically, when I went to watch the Catching Fire movie. Will you reread the book, skip the sequel, try to find a synopsis on Goodreads, or cry in frustration? Definitely gonna cry in frustration. there's ways for me to like remember. If I have time, I would read the book again. You do not want anyone borrowing your books. How do you politely tell people no when they ask? I'm kind of known as like the library with my friends. If my friends want a good book, I'll just give it to them if I trust them. If I don't, then no, you can't have my book. That's usually what I'll say. I don't have a problem with having people borrowing my books. So it's like a trial. You get one book that I don't really care about so much. You can try out the experience at the Isla Library. If I see that the book comes back in good condition, then you get to read all the other books that I'm okay with. You've picked up and put down 5 books in the last month. How do you get over your reading slump? I'm kind of in a reading slump right now, just saying. But I feel like you have to go and read when you're in the mood to read. So if I'm not in the mood to read, then there's TV, there's the internet, there's YouTube, there's like so many other things for me to fill up my time that I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna take a break from reading and I'll get back to it when I feel like reading. I think like the best way to get over a reading slump is either just, picking up so many books until you can get one that you really like and start reading it down, or rereading a favorite. Next question. There are so many new books coming out that you're dying to read. Story of my life. How many do you actually buy? All of them. Oops. Like, sorry, wallet, purse, bank account, credit card, but however you pay, I pay. Sorry, but yeah. And the last question for this tag is, after you've bought the new books, you can't wait to get to them. How long do they sit on your shelf before you get to them? Okay, that's a really weird phrasing of the question. It depends. Like when Gathering Darkness will download itself onto my Kindle, I want to drop everything, get the Kindle, go into my room. You won't see me for a couple of hours, and I'll come out and be like, oh my god, that was amazing. But let's just look at the books I got in my last book haul. Yeah, I'm gonna get to them eventually. That's the end of the reader problems tag. I'm gonna be tagging 3 people. I'm tagging Beth from Beth June 327. Yep, 327. I remember that correctly. I would really love to see you do this tag. Lindsay from Lindsay Ray, because Lindsay has the craziest reading pace in the history of Earth. Like, I hardly read a book a week and she reads 13 books. And I'm like, how? I need your secret. And yeah, I'm gonna get it out of you eventually. Like, I know they say that you love to read, but come on, I love reading. I don't see how I can read 13 books in 1 week. And so yeah, I really want to see you doing this video and hearing what you do in some of the situations. I'm tagging Ophir from Flame Leviosa. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will have another video up for you guys soon.